Hi, today we're going to be talking about cold storage temperature monitoring. FireBoard offers a fantastic solution with our beacon and our bridge. The beacon is a temp sensor that sits inside your walk-in or reach-in freezer or cooler, and the bridge is a gateway which takes the low-frequency signal transmitted by the beacon and transmits that data to the cloud. That's the basics of our system. And now we're going to show you how easy it is to set this up. The first thing you're going to do is download the free FireBoard app available for iOS or Android. Once you've downloaded that, we're going to open it up, and now you'll need to create an account with an email address and a password. You can also input your company credentials as well as first name and last name. Once you've done that, you'll click the agree and register, and it will automatically open up the FireBoard app. Once the FireBoard app is open, at the very top of the screen, you'll see Add FireBoard. At this point, we're going to power on our FireBoard bridge so we can add our first FireBoard device. You power this on by a hard press on one of the side buttons. The screen will pop up with our logo, and it will say No Devices. We're now going to go back to the app and say Add FireBoard. Now here at FireBoard headquarters, we have a lot of things broadcasting at the moment, so you'll see a lot of devices on screen. But in your situation, you'll only see the FireBoard bridge that you just powered on. We see our bridge here at the bottom. We're going to click on that, and that's going to add that FireBoard bridge to our account. We can see that right here. It says bridge, and it gives us our serial number. Now, so it's a great idea to name all of your FireBoard devices so you can keep track of what they are and where they are. So we're going to go over here and we're going to click on this device. You click on the serial number and we're going to say change device name. So for our cases, we're going to click this and we're going to just say test bridge. We're going to say done. So now we've renamed that. We're going to click the back button. Now we're going to connect this bridge to the Wi-Fi network. So we're going to click manage Wi-Fi. And now we're going to say a view available networks. Now, in your case, you'll see a list of any networks in your location, and you'll choose which one is most appropriate for these devices. After connection has been established, you'll see that the network name is in your Manage Wi-Fi. So now we can go back and we can see now that the test bridge is broadcasting. It's receiving Bluetooth signal. We see our Wi-Fi that's showing 82% and our battery level as well. So now we have just added the FireBoard bridge to your FireBoard account. The bridge is now actually transmitting data to the cloud. However, there's no data for it to transmit. So we're going to set up the FireBoard beacon so that it can receive that temp data and start transmitting that data to the cloud. So we will add the beacon in the same way that we added the FireBoard bridge. The FireBoard beacon ships with 2 Energizer Ultimate Lithium batteries. We found these batteries to work really well in cold storage environments. So the first thing you're going to do in order to start transmitting data from the beacon is to take this back cover off. There's a handy little screw here that you'll just untwist, and you'll put the batteries in the back. Now, once these batteries have both been installed, the beacon is already transmitting data out in the world via the S1G low frequency signal. We'll go ahead and screw this back cover back on. Put that clip back on, and now we're going to say add FireBoard. Once again, there's a lot of devices that are broadcasting here at FireBoard headquarters, and we're going to look for this particular beacon, which is right here. You can see that beacon pop up right away. After a few moments, it'll continue to establish all the connections, and we'll see various things pop up here in the icons. We'll see the S1G signal, and we'll see the battery level of that beacon. We see here that it's transmitting at 100% on the S1G signal, and the battery is also 100%. Now, just as the bridge before it, it is very important to name your beacons. In fact, it's almost more important to name your beacons than your bridge, because you have multiple, most likely you'll have multiple beacons at your facility, and you want to make sure they end up in the right places and that the temp data that you're getting is coming from the place that you've named. So we got to name this beacon in just the same way. We click on that serial number. We're going to change device name, and we're going to say walk-in right here. And we're going to go back. And we're going to go back there, and now you see that it says walk-in. Now also, after you've done that, we see here on our bridge that it says walk-in as well, and we see that it's already sending that temp data to the bridge and to the cloud. So we've set up the bridge to the Wi-Fi, and we've set up the beacon to the bridge, and we've verified that we're getting temp data through Wi-Fi to our device. Now we're going to set up temp alerts so that you know when the temps go out of range. Very simple process. All we have to do here is go to our dashboard here in the lower left and make sure it's on the summary screen. We're going to click on temperature right here. Now, it's also important to name these as well, so it doesn't just say temperature, but it might say walk-in temperature or whatever location that's at. So we're going to label this walk-in temp, and we're going to click done. We're going to go back and we're going to do the same for the humidity. Walk-in humidity. And we're going to click done there as well. So we've named those channels so you can keep them separate when you see a graph or any kind of data like that. Now that you have the walk-in temp and walk-in humidity channels named, we're going to go ahead and set up that actual temp alert. So we're going to click here on walk-in temp, and we're going to say add new alert down here and then set up an alert. We can set the minimum and maximum temperatures up here. We're going to just send the maximum temperature for right now. We're going to say 50 degrees and we're going to say done. Now we can get notifications either as a push notification through the app, an email to the account created, or a text notification that you can set up in your account settings. For now, we're just going to leave it on app notifications. Now you may be in a situation where you don't want to get notified perhaps during the day when people are already at your establishment. You can set this up to only send you alerts during a designated time. We call that custom start and stop time. So if we click this switch right there, we can click on start time and we can say, okay, we want to start getting alerts when people leave our establishment at say 10 p.m. We're going to click done, and then stop time. People start coming to the establishment at like 6 a.m. So we're going to say 6 a.m. and we're going to say done. So you will only get notifications during this time designated here. So from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the only time you would get notifications. Otherwise, you would get notifications all the time. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. So when this is off again, you will get notifications for 24 hours. There is no time that you won't get notifications. In the advanced section, we have two options: minutes buffer and minutes repeat. I'm going to input 10 minutes in the minutes buffer setting. If my temperature is above 50 degrees for longer than 10 minutes, then I'm going to get a notification. Perfect if your sensor is close to your door or something like that, so you won't be getting notifications all the time. The second thing is minutes repeat. This is how often you will get a notification before you correct that problem. So you'll continue to get notifications for 30 minutes. It can set from 5 minutes all the way to 1440 minutes, which is 24 hours. We're going to click back on the channel info, and now you can add multiple alerts for that one channel. If we wanted to add a low temperature, we could add that as well in the same way. And all of the custom start, stop, minutes buffer, minutes repeat are customizable per channel. So there you go. We're going to go back. We can see now here in the walk-in temp, it shows us that we have a setting of 50 degrees as our maximum temperature right here on the summary screen. That's it. That's how easy it is to set up the FireBoard Bridge and the FireBoard Beacon to monitor temperatures in your facility. Thank you for buying and using FireBoard products. If you have any questions, let us know at info@fireboard.com. Thanks.